All right, you guys. So today we're going to get a look at the vintage collection, Star Wars, The Mandalorian, The Rescue set. Really, really cool. Very excited for this particular set, guys. Came in a few days ago. I'm just getting around, opening this thing up, and now we're going to take a look at it here today, guys. So let's go ahead and get started with the box. And starting with the box, I really love the box, guys. We have an illustration, a two-part illustration of the Mandalorian engaging the Dark Trooper. Very cool. And then you see all the special effects that you get with this set to apply not only to your Dark Trooper, but also to the Mandalorian himself, which is very nice, very cool. And then the feature I like the most about this particular set, if you guys can see, and I don't know if you can tell, but your Mandalorian has a soft goods cape. Very excited to get a look at that. And then of course your Moff Gideon figure also comes with a soft goods cape. So I'm very excited to get a look at that. And then of course you have Grogu down there just below the Darksaber. There he's being threatened with the Darksaber by Moff Gideon. And you see the little baby Yoda handcuffs on your Grogu figure. Very, very nice, very cool. And then of course it has the Star Wars banner, Mandalorian in the middle there, Kenner logo, Dark Trooper, Mandalorian, Grogu, and Moff Gideon. So you're getting 4 figures in this particular set. This set went for a retail cost of about, I think, $86 if I'm not mistaken. That may be tax included, I'm not sure. I kind of forget, but obviously it is a fairly expensive set, but you also get a diorama piece as well, as you can see just behind the Mandalorian there, and then of course behind Moff Gideon. And I'm a sucker for any diorama pieces that you get with your set. So really, really cool stuff, guys. That is the front of the box. Let's get a look at the other sides of this box. So for the top side of your box, you have again your Star Wars banner, Mandalorian, the Rescue set. You also have the Mandalorian again engaging your Dark Trooper there, Moff Gideon versus the Mandalorian, and then the Mandalorian and Grogu together there. So some really, really cool stuff, nice imagery and images of your figures, plus the diorama set that you get with this particular set. So really, really nice stuff, very cool. And then for the side of your box, you have the Star Wars, the Mandalorian, the Rescue set, and a small blurb about that particular incident. And that blurb reads as, the Mandalorian leads a crew on a rescue mission to Moff Gideon's ship where a garrison of Dark Troopers, the advanced droid that captured Grogu, are waiting. They decide on a plan. Once they board the cruiser, the others will lead the attack and take the bridge. The Mandalorian will follow alone, eliminate the Dark Troopers, and recover Grogu. After a brutal battle with the Dark Troopers, the Mandalorian takes on Moff Gideon and bests the Imperial. Suddenly, the Dark Troopers return to claim Grogu. They are no match, however, for a mysterious cloaked figure that emerges aboard from an unidentified X-Wing. This warrior destroys the Dark Troopers, and the Mandalorian says goodbye to Grogu as he sends him off to fulfill his destiny. So excellent blurb of the incident or the rescue. Very, very cool stuff. Very nice to have that added onto the box. And then for the other side panel, you just have a very cool display of an Imperial structure or wall there. Very, very nice. You have the little red and black imagery of controls and panels and whatnot, similar to what I have there for my backdrop and incidentally, those backdrops, the majority of those backdrops are from Cardboard Galaxy. Shout out to Cardboard Galaxy. I use a lot of his backdrops for my reviews, but very cool, very nice for the side of your box, for the rescue set, the Mandalorian. And then for the other side of the box, again, you have the same imagery as what's on the other side. Again, your Star Wars banner with the Mandalorian logo on the inside, the illustration of all of your figures together. Kenner logo, very nice stuff. Let's go ahead and get this box open, get a look at the detail on our figures. We'll probably only do the articulation on the Dark Trooper. That is the newest figure out of this particular set. The others are obviously repacks, but with a little twist, as I mentioned, with the soft goods cape. So we'll go ahead and get a look at that in just a moment, guys. So please stay tuned. So once you've opened up or removed the sleeve from the box, you have your figures already set up in a diorama setting in both depictions of the two different scenes from that one particular episode, The Rescue, which is really, really cool. And you have, again, your Mandalorian with his nice accessories there from his weapons. You also have the Dark Trooper with his accessories as well. And then you have Moff over there with the dark saber, Grogu. You also have some additional pieces on the side. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but there are some additional accessories there off to the side. So you're getting a lot with this set, which somewhat justifies the high cost of this particular set. But still in all, very cool. And to this point, I am satisfied to this point, but let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what we're really getting in this particular set. All right, you guys, so getting you a look at the contents on the outside of the packaging. Really, really nice stuff here that we have. Again, you have your figures posed. Unfortunately, you have the Mandalorian kind of looking away from the Death Trooper due to the plastic. Other than that, you know, the figures are displayed fairly decently in the box. So if you wanted to keep the box sealed, which was a thought that I had when I started this particular video, but I'm gonna go ahead and release these figures from their plastic so we can get a look at them. But I think more or less for this particular set, depending on what type of collector that you are, I think this is a very good set to keep in the box, sealed as is, just for display purposes. But I do really like the presentation, for the exception of the Mandalorian looking away there. But I think it's a very good presentation for your figures in the box. So let's go ahead and release our figures from their plastic cage, guys. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, so we have our figures out of their plastic cages, and I'm very impressed with all four figures. I really do like it. Even though 3 of these are basically repacks, I have not got my single release of the Vintage Collection Dark Trooper. So this is my first look at the Vintage Collection Dark Trooper. I did get the 6-inch Dark Trooper in, got about 4 of those. So really cool, and I thought they were very, very nice. But again, this is my first look at the 3 1/4 size Dark Trooper. So I think he's really cool, very impressive. I haven't taken the special effects off of him just yet because I really like him with the special effects on there. So I kind of left it on it, but obviously we will remove it and get a better look at that figure once we get a look at the detail on the figure, as we will with all 4 of these figures. So again, 3 of them are repacks. They're variants of their counterparts. And what I mean by that is obviously you get the soft capes with both of your figures, Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian. Also with the Mandalorian specifically, I believe the blue knee pad is fairly new. I don't know, I have to get a look at my other Vintage Collection Mandalorians. And then also some of the padding just underneath the belt with the blue there. I don't recognize that as much, but again, I could be mistaken. And then even thigh guard right here has a different design on it that I don't quite recall getting on any of my other Vintage Collection Mandalorians. So in addition to not only getting the spear, the Beskar spear for the first time, we're getting the soft cape, which we also got with the HasLab Razor Crest figure. That also came with a soft cape for your figure. But again, you get the Beskar spear here, which is also a very, very nice addition to your accessories. And then for your Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, he comes with his specialized handcuffs. I don't believe we've received the handcuffs in the Vintage Collection line with this figure. So really, really cool stuff to have for your Grogu. So again, even though 3 of these are repacks, they are certain variants of the original release of these figures, which I really do enjoy. And I think it somewhat, again, justifies getting this pack. And then also the number of accessories that you get with this particular set can also justify the cost of, or somewhat justify the cost of this particular set. So, all right, you guys, so let's get you a look at some of the detail on these figures, starting with your Moff Gideon figure. So let's go ahead and get a look at that particular figure. So getting you a look at your Moff Gideon figure, I think the face sculpt is absolutely on point. It is really, really nice. It's been a while since I looked at the original release of this figure. I don't know if the face sculpt was as good, but for this particular one, it looks excellent. Very, very nice face sculpt on it. You have your side weapon pistol is one of the accessories that this particular figure comes with. And of course, the Darksaber as well. And then of course you have your soft goods cape, which is also really nice. That's kind of weird though. Don't really like that on the back of the cape, but you're not going to be really looking at him from the back. More or less it's going to be from the front. So from the front, it is a very, very nice presentation for your figure, and he'll look really nice on your shelf as well. And again, we're going to skip articulation. We have reviewed this figure already, I believe, anyway. And of course, you've probably seen, once you've seen the articulation on one of these, you're pretty much getting the same on all the others. So we're going to skip the articulation for this figure, but there is a look at the detail on this figure, which I think is absolutely excellent. Then also the Darksaber as well. Get a good look at that. Not really much different than the one that we got in the original release, but still cool to get this accessory with this figure. All right, you guys, and then for your Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, looking very cool, very cute, got his handcuffs on. My man has been arrested. He wants to show the Mandalorian, look what they did to me. They got me handcuffed, bro. What's going on? But he looks really cool. I love this edition. I believe you can remove the handcuffs from him. It's just a very soft plastic that I believe will stretch over his fingers. But I think it's best to just keep it on. So to have one with the handcuffs that are consistently on, it's not gonna bother me at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep that as it is. So really, really cool stuff. Very, very nice. He looks great. You even have the sculpting of the hood there on the back, which is really nice. And then of course you have the Mandalorian. Looks absolutely awesome. Great detail as usual. Bombs on the side there, or charges on the side there. And then you have all of the sculpting of the armor. Again, the texture here on the thigh armor is a little different than what I recall, but I could be mistaken. And then also the blue knee pad kind of stands out to me a little bit. Maybe it's always been blue, but not that shade of blue. Also the blue that is featured on the padding underneath the belt seems to be of a different palette of blue. If it's ever been blue, I'm just, it just stands out to me as a little different. Even the blue here underneath on the ab area seems to be a little different. But he is still very, very nice. You have the Beskar spear, looks really cool. You have the tip there, it's really nice. And of course, you have the cape for your figure. It's tattered at the bottom to give him that that rugged, rough look. So very nice. And of course, he comes with a couple of other accessories besides his side pistol there. And I apologize for the shadow on it, but there's a look at the side pistol. Just a normal gray, no other paint apps on it. Just your standard side pistol that you usually get with your figure. Again, we'll skip the articulation for this particular figure, but as I mentioned, there are a couple of other accessories that come with this figure, and we'll get a look at that now. So in addition to the Beskar spear and his side pistol, you also get the special effect, or the effect of his whistling birds shooting out from his gauntlet. It's a really cool effect. Very nice. It's a small tab that you slide into his gauntlet there that gives you that posability as if he's firing off the whistling birds, which is very, very nice. Very cool special effect. And then, of course, in addition to the whistling bird effect, you also have the flamethrower, which is really, really nice. You get that protruding blue flame that follows up behind the orange blaze there. So that is a really, really nice effect there. And really, really cool accessories to have with your figure. So I think the accessories for this set, you get plenty of them. And this is just a couple of them, which are really, really nice and adds a lot to your diorama settings and how you pose this particular figure on your shelf. So very nice stuff. And then, of course, for your jetpack, fits in very nicely. The slot is just behind the shoulder strap. You may even miss it if you do not move the shoulder strap, but as you can see here, it's right there. Nice little slot for you to slide it into. And again, that covers it up, but if you slide it over, you could just put the jetpack right in and your figure is ready to go. And then also for your gauntlet, you have a small piece that plugs right into the hole. As you guys can see, I'm gonna pull it out. It slides right out, sort of. And you just plug it up in there. And when you remove it, you can put in the whistling bird effect. Has a little notch, as I mentioned earlier. You place it in there, fits in nicely, and there you go. Very, very nice, very cool effect. And then to get you guys a look at the tip of the whistling bird gauntlet, again, it has a little notch there, and it just plugs right into the hole. And then lastly, we have our Dark Trooper with the special effects of him in flames, which is really cool, very nice. I think it fits around him really, really good. Where you can, I mean, of course, you can obviously tell that it is an effect that wraps around him, but it does give you a very good visual as if he is actually on fire. So that is really, really good design for that effect. I do enjoy that a lot. And of course, once you remove the burning effect from your Dark Trooper, you have a very, very nice looking figure, very nicely detailed. You have that particular piece there. Not sure what its function is, but very nice with the silver paint app against the black. Yeah, the detail with the lights there, the red in the eyes as well against the black. It's just a really, really nice figure. Again, I have received these in the 6-inch, so I've seen this figure already. However, I have not seen it in the 3 1/4 size, and I am just as impressed with this figure as I am with the 6-inch version of this figure. Very, very cool. I will briefly go over the articulation. You have a straight arm like so, elbow bend like so. Also gives you the T-pose as well. You have your twist in the elbow, twist in the wrist. You do have back and forth articulation in the wrist as well. And that would be for both wrists, even though mine are a little tight. You do have that articulation. Your figure kicks out straight like so, high bend like so, goes back like so, kicks out to the side like so. You have a twist in the thigh. You also have a twist at the knee. In the ankle, he goes down, goes up. In your torso, he goes down about that far, back about that far. He has a very, very decent range in the torso. And then your twist to the left and to the right. In the head area, he doesn't go down too far because of the apparatus that's at the end there. He will look up about that far. But then, of course, you have your left to right twist in the head, and there's a little bit of head nod there as well. Standard articulation for your Dark Trooper figure in the Vintage Collection 3 1/4 size. Very, very nice. And then to round out the accessories for this particular set, you have your two hand positions, closed fist hand positions for your Dark Trooper to depict when he's punching the doors and also when he's punching the Mandalorian. So you get quite a few accessories with this set. And again, it somewhat justifies the cost of this set, which I believe again is around $89 if I'm not mistaken. But you know, it is a little bit expensive. Then you also get the diorama pieces as well. So they did their best to try to fill the setup with enough accessories to justify the cost. And then of course you do get some different variations of some of the figures that you've already received. And then also you have your Dark Trooper as well, which comes with the burning effect, which will not be available for the single release of this figure. So again, it is a very, very cool set. You get quite a few accessories with this particular set. And then of course, again, you get some different variations of some figures that you've already received. Plus you also get your Dark Trooper that comes with the burning effect as well. And again, you have your diorama setting to put your figures in. So it is a very, very nice set. I do like it a lot. Is it a little pricey? I would think so. You probably could have gotten away with this with maybe about 60 bucks as opposed to about 80 something bucks. But you know, that's just me being a consumer. I do enjoy this set, and I do like all of the figures that you get, even though a couple of them are repacks. The variations are somewhat enough to justify the cost for this particular set. So one of the things that I didn't even notice until I was looking at the back of the inside box, the box that actually was holding the figures on the inside, on the back side of that box, you also have an additional diorama piece that you can add with the two pieces that your figures actually are posed in the presentation of the box, which is really cool. So you actually can fill this whole thing out with putting either side of the diorama pieces on the side, and then using the back of the box as a backdrop to fill in the gap between the two different pieces. So really cool. Again, an additional accessory to go along with your set, which makes the set just that much more better. Really, really cool. All right, you guys. So I wanted to get you a look at some of the different variations that we received of the Mandalorian in the 3 1/4 or Vintage Collection line. Obviously, we got the Mandalorian's original look with a kind of a mixture of the Mandalorian armor with some of the Shore Trooper pieces there. And then obviously he has since upgraded some of those pieces to Beskar, the shoulder pads, the thigh armor as well. Getting a look at specifically the thigh armor on the right leg. Here it still has a little splash of brown paint on it. I don't know if at this point it's even Beskar, but that might explain the difference here on our new figure in the rescue set. As you can see, it has much more texture to it, definitely different coloring. I'm assuming it is Beskar. Maybe at some point he upgraded it and I didn't even notice it as the show went on, but definitely a difference there. And then when at the point where he upgraded to the Beskar armor, As you can see, that left knee pad is brown. Originally, the knee pad was blue. With his original armor that was not all Beskar, and now it's reverted back to that same blue that he originally had. So definitely a little bit of a difference there with the knee pad. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the padding that is underneath, that runs along underneath the belt there, you have a blue palette for those padded pieces, which seems to be somewhat accurate to all of the other ones that we have here. Is just something that I kind of glossed over and didn't really recognize that was a piece or a part of the coloring scheme for this figure. But it is accurate to what we've received in the line previously with this figure. Even the blue on the ab area, again, which is depicted on that figure, is accurate to what we have here. The shades may be a little bit different. That may be the only difference, but the pattern of the coloring seems to be fairly accurate. And then the other thing I noticed as well is on previous releases of this figure, the handle of the pistol has the brown, like wooden handle. For this figure that we received here, the gun is just totally gray, no brown paint app on the handle of that pistol. So that's a little disappointing. That is a little bit inaccurate for the character. But pretty much everything seems to be fairly accurate with this figure, for the exception of the knee pad. Again, there are some inaccuracies with this particular figure versus what we received previously in the line, but I don't think it's too much that we can even cry about it. It's still good to have this figure. I think he looks excellent. I don't even mind the additional texture on the padding there. I actually like it. Looks really, really good. The blue on the pad doesn't bother me. He could have several different pads, and at this point, maybe he's wearing the blue pad. I don't know. I have to go back and look in the episode to see if his knee pad is blue. Maybe that's why they changed it up for this. I'm not quite sure. Then for your Moff Gideon figure, again, not too many differences. There is a difference within the color of the pistol. For your original release, he has a gray pistol, and then for this release, they've given him a black pistol. So that would be one discrepancy between the two releases. Obviously, you have the molded cape for your original release that has the little plug-in feature for the back. This particular version of it versus the 6-inch version of the figure, this cape works a lot better. It stays in more accurately than the 6-inch version, so I don't have too much of a problem with this molded cape. But obviously, as I always mention in my videos, I'm a sucker for soft goods, and I most definitely prefer the soft goods. But again, you do miss the pleating in the cape with your soft goods cape. So there are certain advantages that you get with your molded cape versus the soft good cape. But I think the soft good cape, obviously you're not gonna have any problems with this falling off. I wouldn't say that this particular cape falls off all the time. It seems to be staying on fairly good right now. And it plugged in very easily. So, I don't have the same problem with this particular molded cape as I would or do have with the 6-inch. But again, I do prefer the soft goods cape because it allows me to pose the cape free flowing in the wind if I decide to pose the character in that particular fashion. So I do prefer that soft goods cape versus the molded cape. And then of course, one of the other differences that we have here is the hair coloring for our character. Here your Moff Gideon has all black hair, no gray whatsoever. Where with this particular release for this set, they've decided to kind of gray him up just a little bit to make him a little bit more accurate to what we've seen in the show. So you have that subtle difference there for your release of this particular character. So really, really cool stuff. Again, subtle differences between the two releases, but not anything to cry over. As a matter of fact, you might prefer the grayed look over the all black look for accuracy purposes. All right, you guys. So obviously with this being a diorama set, we're going to go ahead and get our figures in a diorama setting as we always do in our reviews, guys. So please stay tuned. All right, you guys, so there you have your Mandalorian rescue set, complete with your Mandalorian, Moff Gideon, Grogu, and Dark Trooper. So a really cool set. You get plenty of accessories. You also have a very, very nice diorama setting that you can put together for your figures, either to display on your shelf or to take toy photography photos. It is a really, really good set, and I love the idea of this particular set. For the price point of about roughly about $89, almost about $90 for this set. It is a little bit on the pricey side, but again, you do have plenty of accessories for this set and the diorama set, in addition to getting 4 figures in the set, or at least 3.5 figures, since Grogu is such a small figure. So depending on how you value your collection and the amount of accessories that you get, and along with what other perks you get along with the set, you may think that this set is of a decent value or a great value, or you might feel like this particular set is a little bit on the expensive side. I would lean towards that it is a little bit on the expensive side, just a tad bit, but I am satisfied with what I have received in this particular set. And then of course, you also get the soft goods capes, which again, I am always a sucker for. The additional accessories, just a really, really cool and very, very nice set. And I'm very to have this as a part of my collection, guys. But let me know what your thoughts are in regards to this particular set. Have you picked it up? Is this a set that you would pick up? And what do you think about the price point? Again, it's roughly about $89. Do you think it is a little bit on the pricey side? Do you think it is of equal or fair value? Let me know. Put those comments down below. And guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.